The Corbin Burnes trade was one that signals a change in the market. We're going to talk about that. Now, I can't promise you perfect internet while I'm here in Key West, but I can tell you that we're going to talk some baseball. So with us today, thanks for hanging out with us. Give us a thumbs up. Great to say, and go Cubs, and let's get this party started. Hey everybody, I'm Mick Gillispie. Thanks for hanging out with us on the Cubs baseball channel. Let's talk about what's going on right now. And I know it's not a whole lot, but that could change in a second, right? But this Corbin Burnes trade means that there are things on the way, right? First off, we've been hearing about the possibility that he would get traded for a long time, and then it finally happened. But it also signifies that the market is starting to kind of dwindle down for the start of the regular season. Could Dan Williams get traded? I know some of you guys are probably wondering that. Hey, would they make a deal with the Cubs? I don't know if they would. Probably not a big appetite to trade with the Cubs after, obviously losing Craig Counsell and the Cubs being in their division. But they send him to Baltimore, who hasn't won a World Series in, 41 years, since 83. And the Orioles got so close last year, and then in the playoffs they got demolished. They didn't have an ace. Now they do have one. Another trade, though, that I feel like is really significant is Ross Stripling plus cash from the Giants to the A's. Now, why is that significant? I mean, look, it's a small trade. It's one of those deals that the A's always do, and then they'll end up, flipping him at the deadline and get some prospects, kind of their way of doing things. But are the Giants moving players around right now in money to get ready to sign Jordan Montgomery or Blake Snell? The fact that they've watched the Dodgers do so many things to get better, and they didn't get a deal for, for Burnes. Could that be it? See, I think it might be, because there's a lot of pressure on the Giants right now to keep up with the Dodgers. The Dodgers went out and spent $1 billion. They got Yamamoto. They got Ohtani. They got Glass now. I mean, this is going to be an entirely different feel for the Dodgers. It's going to be one of stars and power and a good team. I mean, you're adding them with Mookie Betts and, and the rest of that stacked lineup, Freddie Freeman. So with that said, I kind of felt like when I saw that, okay, that there was some smoke there where the Giants now seem to be kind of moving in the direction where they may be in position to make a move. Now, the Cubs and Cubs fans and, and all of you guys that are out there, the players, everyone seems to say the same, and that they want this guy, Cody Bellinger, back. And why wouldn't they? He was the best player on the team last year. And the market doesn't feel like, and I've said this over and over again, like there's a huge demand for him outside of the Cubs. But are the Cubs willing to meet the amount of money that he wants? I don't know. But I think that there's pressure mounting from his people. He wants to get this done. He wants to get in that Cubs uniform and get back. Players want him there. They know him. They wouldn't be saying that if they thought that he was going to go somewhere else. If you knew that a guy didn't want to come back, you wouldn't talk about him. I mean, it's just common sense, right? At least you wouldn't think that. And his agent is one of the toughest agents to deal with in baseball, but we're getting to the point now where, today is the 3rd of February. And I mean, you got spring training starting on February 14th on Valentine's Day. So you either got to get it done now, or you're going to start missing training that if you sign this big deal, there's big expectations with it. And he's going to want to have as much time to get ready for the season as possible. So, just something to keep an eye on. And, and obviously they're going to do what they're going to do, and the bottom line is the bottom, like make money. But at the same time, as we move closer and closer and closer to that deadline, of opening day, it's going to really, and I don't think it's even going to get that far. I think these cards are going to start falling, and it'd be like 48-hour period where all of this is going to be done and they're going to move on. Last thing I wanted to say, as I'm in Key West, obviously horrible. The reason that I got the idea to come out here was our good friend, former special assistant to the GM of the Cubs and one of the all-time great scouts, that's Gary Hughes. He always reminded me of Big Lebowski. A guy would have like a Hawaiian shirt on, and he'd come and scout the team, talk to everybody. He was a great guy. Had him on the air one time, and I'm like, hey, this guy, he was in Baseball America. He was one of the top 10 scouts of the decade, according to them, and I'm like, it was Branch Rickey and Buck O'Neill, and he's like, yeah, Mick, except it was the century. And I'm like, yeah, so those 10 years plus 9 others, right? Leave it to me to mess it up. Now, we had a great laugh, and an awesome guy, and we miss him a lot. And so he would come to Key West this time of year, and you didn't get a crisp card from him. You got a Key West card. Like, it came like after the holidays from out here where I'm at. So last year I came just to kind of think about him and then dedicate a trip to him. And then I was like, hey, I love this idea. I'm just going to pick up the tradition. So we're thinking about Gary Hughes. Obviously, we're thinking about Rhino with the cancer and Otis, who passed away. And we've been so privileged. We've been so lucky to be around fantastic people with the Cubs for all these years. And, obviously losing Otis yesterday was sad. And I know that a lot of people have had heavy hearts, and add me in that mix as well. All right. Thanks for hanging out, guys. Get in the comment section. Again, apologize for the internet. We'll be back on solid ground here soon. And we'll be right back at it with some good internet. Thanks for hanging out. Go Cubs.